Yeah, so let's talk about an interesting topic. Inspiration versus perspiration. I believe I heard this in a lecture by Gary Kasparov, and he was quoting Edison when he said that Edison believed that success was 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. And maybe you already know where I'm going with this. This is especially a malady among artists, by no means not everybody by any means, but many artists, painters, sculptors, writers, they wait for this proverbial muse, for this inspiration, and that's their excuse for a lack of creation. Well, it shouldn't be, for various reasons, because you can actually inspire inspiration, right? Translation? Like, for example, I just put this figurine of the goddess Translation, and one, it helps me look at the camera, and two, it's kind of fun. So you create your own inspiration. But let's talk about this. Have you ever had this scenario happen where you need to start on a translation, or you need to write, or you need to do something or other, and you're just walking about and around in circles for hours or maybe days, not able to get started on a project? It has definitely happened to me, and I'm willing to bet it has happened to you. So what's the remedy? Well, the remedy is very simple. It's perspiration, quote unquote. Let me tell you what I do when I need to do something. Like if, for example, I know that I need to do a cold water swim, but I really don't want to, I will sort of trick myself into doing it, knowing fully well that I'm probably tricking myself. I will say, okay, I'm just gonna drive to the lake. Good. I'm only going to warm up by running or by walking fast. I'm just going to put on my swimming attire. I'm just going to go into the water and just step in. And of course, by the time that you're like knee high, or, well, maybe not knee high, you can still walk out, but waist high in the water, then you think to yourself, oh, to hell with it, let's just swim. And you actually enjoy it and you get it done. So same with translation. When I am procrastinating, I will say to myself, I'm just going to turn on my computer. I will just open up the file and look at it. I will just translate the first sentence or the first paragraph. And by the way, that's okay. To just take one step is better than no steps, right? We all know this Chinese proverb, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, right? It does. So it's better to take one step than no steps. And maybe actually that's one of the reasons why we sometimes kill inspiration. We set goals that are not necessarily unreasonably high, but dauntingly high. Like, I have to translate 20 pages today. Well, that's scary. If you say to yourself, you know what? If I just translate one page today and I'll start with one paragraph, that's okay. And then probably you will translate more than one page. You know? So that's actually how you inspire inspiration. Also, you shouldn't depend on circumstances, but you can create your own circumstances. Like if I know, for example, that this cafe, or this venue inspires me to do a good job of writing or translating, then I will just get my bottom off of the chair and drive to that cafe and work in that cafe. Why not? It's a trick of the trade. Like I used to do my planning for every new year in a very particular cafe in Los Angeles because I love that cafe. It always inspired me to plan, to think, to dream, So use that. If a particular outfit or a particular pen inspires you, okay, we don't translate using pens anymore, but anything. In one of the next clips, we'll talk about non-linguistic tips to increase linguistic performance, and pretty much any trick that you can use works. Like I have a blue computer because I love the color blue. Unfortunately, it's falling apart, but it inspires me because here I am seeing my favorite color. Maybe put on a background in Windows that you're inspired by. Maybe put on your favorite music. Like I do that, I translate to music sometimes. Music that won't distract me because it's either devoid of words or it's words in a language that I don't understand, like Russian, for example. Haha. Joke. But sometimes you hear songs that are so indecipherable that you don't understand them. So these are all tips. Basically, just start in any way, shape, or form. Don't wait for the muse. And in fact, the muse comes to those who discipline themselves, like God helps those who helps themselves. Well, the muse as well. 2, create circumstances that are conducive to you translating or doing whatever it is that you have to do, editing, proofreading, and so on. Yeah, and use whatever little tricks of the trade, other little tactics of inspiration. They may only bring 1%, but sometimes 1% is all you need. But the main tip is just start. Start with something little, but start. So to answer our question of is it inspiration or is it perspiration? Well, it's both. But the truth is, you can inspire inspiration itself through perspiration. Like in Russian, we say appetite comes during a meal. Well, inspiration comes during work very often. So, voila. I'll give you one more example as a conclusion, or actually maybe two examples, or maybe three. No. When I wanted to write a story, I would basically just sit myself down, open my computer, maybe get a glass of wine, and just start writing, even if I don't know what exactly I'm going to write about. Or same with writing a poem, same with translating a song. It is enough for me to open up my notebook and grab a pen, and I know that it'll get done. In 99% of the cases, unless I'm in a really, really bad mood, in which case I just usually go for a walk or distract myself and then still come back to it, it gets done. But circumstances do help. And I create the circumstances that inspire me. Like, for example, one story I wrote outside in Los Angeles at like 1 a.m., sitting under in a little gazebo with a bottle of pink strawberry wine, and I actually wrote a story called The Strawberry Sunset, The Raspberry Kiss, you know? Another time, me and an acquaintance of mine wrote a story actually in 1 hour, but I cheated and I wrote it in 75 minutes. I forgot what her name was, but I said, can I have 15 more minutes? And yes, the surroundings were very inspiring. It was Hollywood Hills, night, stars, pretty girl, beautiful window, but who created those circumstances? I did. When I saw that apartment, I was like, I want it. And I only lived there for maybe a month or a few weeks, but it was still worth it. I still have the story. I don't have the girl, but it's okay. Yeah, so without further ado and rambling on, test this. It's supposed to be very practical, and I will leave you with one last quote from American essayist Albert Hubbard, but I learned this quote from Brian Tracy, quoted Albert, and he said that discipline is defined as doing the things you need to do when you need to do them, whether you want to or not. But it doesn't mean whipping yourself, it means sometimes tricking yourself or inspiring yourself. So there you go. Be an inspirer of inspiration and then a perspirer of perspiration, but I don't like that imagery. So let's just conclude the clip.